Welcome to the podcast.
5 Words with Sean Patton
And Caitlin Cook. There it is. We are your hosts, and this is the journey you will be taking with us every week. Every episode, we invite a different auteur from a different background, different world, different field to tell us a story of theirs in 5 simple words. We then tell our version of that story, and then they tell theirs.
Yeah. It's a whole journey that you're going to get to take with us. And our first ever guest for this podcast, the first episode, is the wonderful
Dan Soder. Dan, you've seen on Billions. Mm-hmm. You've heard on The Bonfire, him and Big J. Okerson. And his biggest credit, you live at Gotham on Comedy Central, which, you know, people still come up to Dan. He tells me all the time, like, you Dan Soder from Live at Gotham in 2010.
It's true. It is his biggest credit. And he's like, please stop bugging me at this restaurant.
Yeah. Dan is a wonderful comedian, just a wonderful personality.
Very hilarious.
Great actor, too. Give it a listen. Welcome back to episode 3047 of 5 Words Podcast.
And if you missed the previous ones, too bad.
Yeah, you'll find them. I wonder how many... You think there was ever, like, a time when podcasts... Like, are there lost episodes of podcasts floating around out there?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, good to know. Well, this is not one of those lost episodes. This one's found.
Yeah.
This is Caitlin.
Hi.
Hello.
That's Sean.
Thank you. All right. I thought you were just going to not introduce me.
Nope. It's all about me.
At the first second, you're just going to be, hi. And this is called 5 Words with just Caitlin Cook. And our guest for the evening, the suspiciously quiet Dan Soder.
I wait for my introduction. I wait. I don't want to step in front of an introduction.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it. I always think with podcasts now that everything's digital, that my grandchildren, if I have kids and they have kids, in the post-apocalypse, will be able to get online and like find these weird...
Oh, yeah.
So like I can leave them bits of survival information for the future. I'm like, find a clean water pocket in the mountains of Colorado. Outside of Breckenridge, there's a well. You can drink and feed off it.
Oh, I love that.
You know what I mean? And they'll be like, Grandpapa told me we must go west.
I like
It's
it.
like the post-apocalyptic, like, Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You just put it together.
Yeah.
On the I-85 between Boulder and Steamboat Springs is a Toyota Tercel. It's red. It was red 20 years ago. In the trunk, you'll find enough provisions to last through the winter.
Find my bomb shelter.
We started burying gifts because of his family. They went to London and he couldn't go with them, and so they buried like a little gift
treasure,
and
they
gave
gave
him a
sent me a
treasure
map.
map
That's
in
so
Hyde Park. And so we started doing
fucking
that.
cool.
And I
Yeah,
want to do that
yeah.
with comics because like they're the only people that go to these places all over the world all the time.
Dude, that'd be so fun.
I will say this, and all due respect and shout out to my family and thank you. But when they did it, it was like, that's amazing. And they gave us a map.
Mm-hmm.
And then 9 months later, we were in London and we like followed the map and like dug up the treasure. And it was just like a picture of them.
That's great.
You know, just like
Yeah.
like right before they buried it.
That's great.
So it was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then so we buried them at boop. And right there in the park, that was me self-editing out what we actually buried.
They haven't dug it up.
So they haven't dug it up yet. So when they
We
go
got
back
them-
to
yeah.
London,
Yeah.
you guys have this like treasure thing.
Wait,
What
where-
if just some fucking British homeless guy just fucking digs?
I mean, if he found this specific gift, it would be...
I mean,
I
he
would say it would be,
deserves it.
yeah, it would be helpful.
Yeah.
It would be helpful.
We stole a spoon from a restaurant to dig the hole.
Oh, that's hilarious.
and buried
And then
the
we buried the
spoon with the gift with the treasure.
If I saw that, if I was just on the park, let's say like I'm a British guy and I'm just like sitting in the park watching guys do that, I'm like, I believe they're from the future. They must know something we don't.
Hell yeah.
Pay attention to the spot of the digging, for we will retrieve the gift.
Yeah.
I will say this.
Well, we're all going to Edinburgh. We should do that when we're there.
I'm down. I'm
Yeah.
down to bury
Very.
some shit in
Yeah.
Scotland.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
Highlander.
I meant to do that. this
Side
time,
note,
forgot. What?
just hilariously so, and we won't say it, but what we did bury, if a British homeless person were to find, would be very helpful, no?
I can't even remember.
It's funny you go, I don't know what this
Just think,
It's
and don't.
beep.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, we should bury some things in Scotland.
Yeah.
And I think, where are you just going next on the road?
After Scotland,
Yeah, no, before Scotland.
Atlanta.
Next? Oh, wait, are you going to Atlanta pre-Edinburgh or
Yes, like next week.
You're going to the Punchline?
Yeah.
bury me something. I'm going to
Yeah.
be there in April.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna be at the punchline.
Yeah.
All right, I'll bury something.
And
Yeah.
honestly, if this
Oh, cool.
podcast takes off, because we're still banking episodes at this point, like I want to bury things for people that are listening to
It's
this.
so cool.
Yeah.
It's
I
such
love
a
that
cool.
idea.
Because it really is.
a
Time
fun-
capsules always blew my mind as
Yeah.
a kid.
Did you ever bury one?
I think so, in like 5th grade.
Yeah.
Time to go excavate Mission Viejo Elementary School in Aurora, Colorado.
Dude, like no shit. My friend buried one in 1995. And
Oh
we
my
dug it
God.
up in like 2003, not even that long.
Okay.
But in there was a dime bag
Hey.
of marijuana.
Sticks and seeds.
Yeah, we did
95.
smoke. And we did smoke it.
Really?
And there was like still somewhat of like I think we might be. It could have been high off the nostalgia, but
I often nostalgia.
my favorite thing in there was a CD.
That was the strain of weed.
Yeah, was a cassette tape of Guns N' Roses' "The Spaghetti Incident."
Yeah, dude, that was a straight to target release.
Yeah.
That was a pretty big one. When
man.
that was Axl feeling pressure from the record company.
Yeah.
'Cause he was like Chinese democracy. Yeah, spaghetti. I remember the cover looked like brains, but it was spaghetti.
It was spaghetti. Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that.
And I
Great
think it was
title,
mostly
though.
covers.
Was it?
I think. I can't really remember because we didn't listen to it.
Yeah.
We smoked the 7-year weed, but we didn't listen to the.
You're like tapes.
to the-
Ugh.
yeah.
What the fuck are you doing?
I always. I want to, man, we should all be looking to do more adventurous shit like that.
Yeah, I feel that's what they did before the internet and TVs and stuff. They were like,
Yeah.
had fun stuff. I mean, that's where most treasures come from, is just in a time where they're like, I feel I must bury something and give clues to a stranger that will one day find this.
Like, imagine.
That's all treasures.
There's nothing more fun than like a scavenger hunt or like growing up. I used to do this thing called fake birthdays where we would just randomly decide that it was a friend's fake birthday and
Yeah.
throw them a surprise party. And
That's
just their
so
birthday
cool.
for the day.
That's so cool.
It was so fun, and I want to recreate it.
Oh,
and
man.
no one's like into the planning.
What a
with
way
it.
to brighten up a regular old February the 5th.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's just like, fuck it, happy fake birthday.
It's my fake birthday today.
Oh, God. But then people would take it to social media and it'd get obnoxious.
Exactly.
My fake birthday.
Yeah.
Side note, and I know this is just an anecdote. It's not jabba-jawing about the comedy scene, but Scoville, Rory Wayne Scoville, and Jonathan Franklin Dorr. I don't know if those are either of their middle
I hope
names.
those are even kind of close.
They were hosting a show called What's Up Tiger Lily. They were guest hosting a show called What's Up Tiger Lily in LA. This was like 2011, 12, 13, someone there. And they did something like that where Kumail Peter Nanjiani was showing up late. So they just went and printed out a bunch of his headshots and got a bunch of signs that said happy birthday, Kumail. So that when he walked in, they just brought him right on stage. They're like, ladies and gentlemen, your birthday comic, Kumail Nanjiani.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
he was like, what?
That's so great.
That
Yeah.
reminds me of this time
Birthday
in college.
pranks.
Yeah.
We had a friend who'd been dating this guy that no one had met. He went to a different school, and he was coming to visit. And so we creepily printed out pictures of his face, taped them to masks. And when he showed up at the party, we all just had his face.
Oh, that's a fucking scary one. dude.
That feels like you're about to get killed by a cult. You're like, fuck, I knew this girl's too good to be true. I went to visit her. This is what
what
I
about,
get you.
I want to do a thing because you know how do you ever take lonely lunches?
What does that mean?
Like when you're just out and about in a city or even in New York, and you're just like, I'm gonna go to this fucking sushi bar by myself.
Yeah.
I just
Love
want to have
lonely
lunch
lunches.
alone.
Love
Yeah,
it.
and that's a great time to just spring a birthday.
Surprise.
You know someone's having a birthday lunch, and then you just roll in happy birthday, with the stack.
Like, stop it. I want to be by myself and read my book.
I thought you were going to say a lonely lunch is when you tell the wait staff it's your birthday, but you're sitting there alone.
I just recently lost my wife. No, what? Could you set a place for her? No, sir, I'm a young widow. I'm a young widower. Dude, play the young widower game at a restaurant. Sir, I'm sorry to do this to you. Yeah, can I help you? My wife recently passed. Could you set another place for her? I would like to feel like she could walk in at any moment. It's like,
God. I mean, I feel like you'd get a free appetizer.
yeah, you're like, hey man, this is just an
I
almost
hope.
boosh.
Yeah.
I brought two. One for her.
What's so upsetting is if whatever you order for her,
Yeah.
because you're like, I'm going to order a meal for her as well. If they have to come back and tell you they're out of it.
I try to see something. If you look at the board to see what's 86th, you're like, she loved the striped bass, and you go, Sir, I just checked with the kitchen. We're out of the bass. I'm out of her.
Oh my God! And when you first walked in, and the hostess was like, "Just you?"
You go, table for two. Just me.
Oh, God.
Have you played up a lie?
Oh, God.
Fake loss. Do a fake loss lunch.
Jesus Christ. Do a fake lost lunch and
God.
show us the receipt and we'll
I
pay for it.
couldn't
We won't
Yeah,
pay,
dude,
we
that's
won't pay
follow
for
through
it.
with it.
That would be so great. You do like I lost custody to my kid lunch.
Yeah.
And you
Oh.
go, did you guys see the kid menu? Just want to get some chicken fingers. Just put them across the table. They come over, you're just crushing the fucking chicken fingers with your hands to make it look like a kid picked it apart.
Yeah, or you're cutting it up
Oh.
for the kid to eat.
Try to make a waiter cry.
Oh, they
I don't
have
know
such a
that
hard
that's
job
as hard
it
as
is.
we think.
I think it's easier, but I think the people you can't make cry are diner waiters.
I was about to say, make a
Oh,
waiter
yeah.
cry. Just show up 5 minutes before the lunch shift ends and order the pork chop.
Oh, dude, I will. That's not cry. That's violent.
Yeah.
If someone
Yeah.
did that to me when I was a waiter, and they'd be like, "Ooh, you know what? We're just gonna have dinner," and you're like, "I'm supposed to go home in 10 minutes.
I'm supposed to clock out.
I just rolled all my silverware, and you just showed up."
That's actually, dude. Speaking of the UK, because we're okay. I don't know. Speaking of the UK, we were earlier, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Like that's a thing that I've noticed that people do in the United Kingdom. Is if a restaurant says it closes at 10 p.m. or 2200 hours.
Yes.
Because they go with that
22H.
Yeah. 22H. That motherfuckers will roll in at like 9:58 or 11:58 or 21:50 or
Yeah, 21:58.
21:58.
21H,
Right.
58M.
Yes, and sit down.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
be like, but you close at 10.
Yeah, that's
and
the-
it's like,
that's-
that doesn't mean you can order at 9:59.
That's the difference. That's the old world,
Yeah.
by the
Yeah.
rules kind of deal. You know? Mm-hmm. America, you kind of got like that. Hey, buddy, I'm gonna break the fourth wall here.
Yeah. I'm not gonna
But they
like.
can't. Just like the troops outside the fucking Buckingham Palace. They have to be like, What would you like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't.
And I bet they still drag it out because the wait staff's so slow there because they don't get tips.
Yeah.
I
Oh.
can't
There's
yeah.
no reward.
Here it's like if a restaurant closes at 10, I won't go in after 9.
No.
I'm like, I know what they're doing right now. They're
If-
back there hosing off the floor right now.
Yeah, they're
You
rolling
know?
up those orange hold
The-
mats
yeah,
that you can
yeah,
stand on that
yeah.
don't hurt your knees.
There's one guy carrying out a fryer full of 360-degree grease to dump into the trap out back.
Mm-hmm.
And if you order anything, he's gonna have to bring it back in and refry it.
Oh, dude.
Ooh, don't do it.
Oh man, I remember one of my birthdays. I was waiting tables and I took a dinner shift, and my friend Sarah was like, "Hey, She was like, done. She's like, I have one table. Can you watch them? They're done. Like they're all paid for and everything. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I was closing, so I was like, cool,
Yeah.
no problem. Everyone left except this table, and they were just romantically staring at each other's eyes to where we started doing the thing where I was like, I'd come by and be like, you know, we did the fake check pickup where you come by, you go, oh, no, you guys aren't ready. Oh, I'll come back. I'm sorry. Because that's like
Yeah.
kind of like the subtle, like,
Yeah.
motivate yourselves.
Move it
Yeah.
along.
We were doing everything from turning on the house lights. And
Yeah,
be like,
yeah, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Didn't know you guys were still back here. You guys are still, oh, you're still back here. And turning
Yeah.
it off. And
Yeah.
It was just my birthday. And I just remember sitting at the bar at this one corner just waiting for them to walk around. Like, come on, you motherfuckers.
And like,
so pissed.
that's a thing where you wonder why can't you just walk over there and be like, hey,
We're people.
get the fuck out of here.
Because it's been so romanticized
Yeah.
in culture to be like, and then we closed down the restaurant.
Yeah.
Bill and
Oh, I
I
just
talked
don't
until
get
the
it.
restaurant was closed. It was like there was a whole
Yeah.
staff of people
Like
that hated your love.
Families.
There was
Yeah.
an Ecuadorian family in
Yeah, yeah,
Ozone
yeah,
Park
yeah.
that didn't see their dad that night because he
Yeah.
had to fucking be the closing busser.
And the eldest son decided he had to go out and earn and get dinner for the family because he was now the man of the house. And on his way out, ran into a fucking gang of Bloods and they
died.
recruited him. No, they
Oh,
recruited. They
Oh,
recruited
see?
him.
There you
This
go.
is what your love does.
You see what they did?
This is what
worse
you're
than death.
You
They recruited him
create
into a life of
another
violence
gang.
Turned him into a criminal because of your
because you had to flirt for an extra 90 minutes.
You had to stare lovingly into each other's fucking eyes. You could have done that at home naked, you dicks.
This is why I think
Yeah.
completely unfounded because I've never been a member of the service industry, but I
Yeah.
think everyone should be.
Yes.
So that because you're interacting at restaurants with bartenders with these people all the time.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
haven't been on the other side of it,
Yeah.
how are you supposed to know?
Well, like in
Unless
Israel,
you know, maybe you're a considerate person.
Well, like in Israel, you have to join the service
That's
for
what
2 years.
Yeah.
In America, it's just the service industry.
Dude, that used to
for a
be
few
that used to be
years.
my old joke where I was like, in Israel, they have to serve 2 years. I think in the United States, they have to serve 2 years at an Applebee's.
Oh, yeah,
just
buddy.
to really get shit
Oh,
thrown
you
at
did
you.
have that joke. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember
'Cause
seeing
it's like-
you do that and being like, I've thought that forever.
Yeah, because it really is, man. When you wait tables, you realize there's so many times where you're like, I'm not special. I'm here to bring people food.
Yeah.
And when people are hungry, they lose all bullshit.
Yeah.
It's like they like to call it hangry now or whatever, but it's just hungry people will treat you like shit
Yeah.
until they get their food.
Right, right,
And
right.
that's why it's like a true test of character to see how someone acts when they're hungry.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like-
Yeah. Starve someone out for a little bit,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how you should really find out who
and
you're
then
with.
throw some issues at them.
Yeah, I'd be like, how do you feel about this? Like, fucking, I don't know. I never liked your mother. And you're like, and then they eat, and they're like, she's a sweet woman. I was talking out of school.
I mean, like that's the thing. Like, I've never because I grew up in my dad runs a catering company. Like,
Yeah.
I grew up working in the.
So you
service
see
industry.
that early.
Yeah, and it's a thing of like I am so fucking aware of the staff and this. Like, I even like pay too much attention to like little tricks.
Yeah.
Like if I get something, if I get a piece of meat that's not cooked to my liking, I'm like, well, I'll deal with it.
Yeah.
Or like
Yeah.
something comes out and it was like, oh, I actually wanted spinach and they brought out
Yeah.
fucking fries, which that kind of thing happens.
Yeah.
It's like, did I want to be healthy that bad? Because I've been
Pick
in
your
that-
battles. You know how to pick your battles.
I've never sent food back, but I know the people that'll send it back and then demand like a discount on
Yeah.
something.
Caitlin's
Like-
mom.
No,
Didn't
no.
she?
No, because my mom is. Oh, she did in England once, and to her defense,
Yeah.
that fish was not cooked.
Okay. Well, if it's going to get you sick, send
Yeah,
it back.
exactly.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
say-
That's fine.
But
Yeah.
no, my mom was a waitress. My dad is food and beverage director. They
So
get it.
people know, because especially picking your battles, you kind of fucking learn, especially in the service industry, you're like, yeah, I don't want to waste this guy's. One of the most heartwarming moments of my life was after I've got out of the service industry.
Yeah.
I don't like being recognized for doing any work. I like doing the work. I don't like the things that come along with it.
I hear you, yeah.
You know, like if someone recognizes you for comedy or anything I've done, I'm always feel awkward at a thing. But the most heartwarming thing ever is one of the old busters I worked with was at a different restaurant, and I walked in and he saw me, and it was one of the greatest. It was one of the most heartwarming where he was like, Gringo, loco gringo, grande gringo loco is what he used to call me. Big crazy white guy, because I would just go fucking nuts. And he was like, oh shit, and he was in the middle of his shift, and I was like, fucking Jose! And
Yeah.
it was awesome. It was at a restaurant in Irving, like I was going out to lunch with a friend,
In Irvine?
on Irving Plaza.
Oh, okay,
it was
yeah.
a fucking friend of a farmer. He was like bussing tables there, and he was like, "What's up?" And I was like,
God.
"Oh my god, how was it? ¿Qué pasa, güey?" And he's like, "Away." And he's like, just telling me it. And I was like, "Dude, this is better than anyone being like, did I see you on Guy Code on
Yeah,
MTV
yeah.
too?" And you're like, "No, you didn't, but you did." This guy did see me work a shit ton of lunch services in
Yeah.
Midtown.
That's where you leave like $300 in
Yeah.
20s on like a dirty plate.
Yeah,
where
you're just
only
like,
he can find it.
Yeah,
you know?
under the dirty plate where the
Yeah.
waiter's like, yeah. And then he's like, oh, so good. Yeah,
Thank
there.
you.
I
Thank
went.
you, Dad.
I went and ate at the restaurant that I used to work at, and it's just gotten so shitty, and there was none of my former employees there, but I tipped real big, just as like a sign of like I came back here and I tipped
Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
But then the service kind of sucked, so I
What
felt
restaurant
like
was it?
Dos Caminos.
Where's that?
It's it was on 50th and 3rd. It's on 50th
Oh,
and 3rd.
Jesus, that-
But there's like 4 of them. And
Yeah.
it started as like when I worked there was 3 of them, and I started working there in 2007, and it was like kind of cool. It was like
Yeah.
kind of a cool restaurant, and now it's just basically like a Chevy's.
Yeah.
Now they're just like get the food out, get the food out.
Man, yeah, like that whole. It's weird how little I know about Manhattan above like 23rd.
Yeah, working in Midtown, I knew
Yeah.
where to get cigarettes and where were good bars in Midtown East, like for like 5
Yeah,
years.
That's a weird area.
What is a real
Yeah.
area, but there was Foo Bar, which this place blew up. It caught on fire. Then there was this place called CB6 where we all used to drink, which that's where you want to go, is where the waiters go after. Because you know
Right.
that place is everyone's gonna get fucked up.
Yeah, yeah.
But there was a crane that collapsed on 2nd Avenue, and it was across the street from the bar that we were drinking at.
Holy
And it was
shit.
crazy. We just went outside.
I mean, yeah, and that's a good point. Like, I don't know if it's youth, age, or anything, but like, I did far crazier amounts of like debaucherous booze consuming as like when I worked in the service industry
Yeah.
than I ever did ever did as a comedian.
Yeah, because I think as a comedian,
Yeah.
you kind of appreciate your job a lot more.
You
You're
appreciate
I fucking
your life
love
a little
this.
bit more.
You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
so lucky to do this as
lot
a
more,
job.
yeah.
Whereas a waiter, you're like, numb the pain.
Yeah.
One time I got
Bring
fucked
out
up.
the darkness.
Yeah, one time I got fucked over by a table, like a four top. They like tipped me really shitty, and then all the servers went out drinking around the corner, and they were there. And I didn't want to say anything, and then I got hammered, and I went and smoked a cigarette, and I came back inside, and they were like, "It's our waiter," and I was like, "You guys suck at tipping," and they were
Really?
like, "What?" And I was like, "Who paid?" And they like pointed at the guy, and I was like, "You're a fucking asshole."
Wow.
And one of the waiters I worked with was like, dude. And I was like, I don't give a shit. I ain't on the clock. And like his girlfriend was ashamed.
Oof.
She's like, can we buy you a drink? That's pretty fucked up. 'Cause they're all like Wall Street.
Yeah, they're all
bankers and shit.
Yeah.
They're all
I mean, if they're eating up there.
concrete
Yeah.
building
Yeah.
bros.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're like, I live in fucking Murray Hill, bro. And they were like, wait, really? One of his friends was like, he really tipped you like shit? And I think I said the number, and they were like, so? And you're like, that's fucking 12%, dude.
Yeah.
It's 12%.
I was on top. I was on top of the game.
Yeah, it's ruined celebrities for me. Certain celebrities that have tipped like shit. It's
Really?
made some certain celebrities for me.
Yeah. I always, if I were ever a celebrity, that would be one good thing anyone could say about me. It's like, well, he overtipped. That's why he's
Yeah.
broke now.
Al
He
Madrigal-
tips 90%.
I don't want to call Al Madrigal out on this, but Al Madrigal has a rule called it's called the being noticed tax.
Oh,
He
yeah.
said when you're out eating, if the waiter knows who you are from like your,
Yeah,
he's
from-
on the Daily Show, and they'd be like, oh, I love you on the Daily Show. He'd be like, fuck, now I got to tip 40%.
Ali Wong has a joke like that too.
Yeah, it automatically bumps to 40%.
Yeah.
We're like, fuck, here we go.
I would do them both. Tip 300%. Just entirely too much
Yo,
money.
shout out to Martina McBride and her husband.
Yeah.
Because they came in today at Dos Caminos in 2008, 2009, working a very slow lunch.
Yeah.
They had to go over to the NBC studios. So her husband was like, hey, man, we're out of here. We got to get out of here in like 20 minutes. I was like, order from the left side of the menu. I'll go downstairs, tell the kitchen it's a rush. And he's like, awesome. I got him all hooked up, got her some margaritas, got him a bunch of Cokes. He loved Coca-Cola.
Right.
He drank it. $71 bill. He left me a $100 bill.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, this guy's the fucking shit.
Oh, that's nice.
Because I
Yeah.
went and I was like, hey, man, I got to go get change from the bartender. I'll be right back. And he's like, nah, keep it. And I was like, great. And I went to the bartender, 2 $100 bills.
Oh, really?
And I went back and I was like, hey, man, in his ear, I was like, I think you made a mistake and they might have stuck together, but you left me 200. He's like, no. He's like, you're awesome, man. Keep the change.
Oh, sweet.
That's
Tip me
fantastic.
$130 on 70.
Yeah. That's one of those
amazing.
like when you're in those years too where you're like, oh man, I'm getting fucked up tonight.
Dude, guess who was buying shots for everyone at Cabin that night?
Oh man.
I was at Cabin like, another round of PBRs. I'm going to buy 2 packs of Camel Lights in a box. I fucking loved it.
That was definitely drinking Dan Soder. It was like, hey, Dan's drinking, so that means everyone within a 5-foot vicinity also drinking.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Blast
Dan.
radius, dude.
Yeah.
I
You
never
fucking-
knew drinking you.
Oh,
How long
yeah.
has it been now?
6 years. It'll be 6 years in March.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Cabin was especially where I shined because I had to be up at 10 in the morning. So I was like, well, if we're doing this, we're burning this whole place down.
Yep.
Oh yeah. It was like I remember drinking Dan being like, I'm having a beer. I'm also having a shot. And then you just look, and if you recognize the person on the
Yeah.
other side, like, you're having a beer and a shot too, right?
Yeah, that's just how it
Two
was.
beers and shots.
Nate
And-
Bargatze
Yeah.
said that I sold shots like a used car salesman.
You did.
Like you just
Yeah,
walk in and
dude.
be like, can I get you into a shot right now? I'm about to do a Jameson.
Yeah.
Do you want to do a Jameson? And they'd be like, all right, let's do a shot.
You look to me like a tequila guy.
Yeah,
I don't want
let's
to
do
speak
it.
out of turn.
I'll
but
go
you-
tequila. What do you
Yeah.
want to do, gin? You sick son of a bitch. Let's do
Get
one.
in here.
It's
It's been a while since I've done gin, but you know what? I think I could use it. I could use it.
One of my favorite Cabin moments was going up to Rebecca and being like, Rebecca, it was an anniversary show. I think it was like the 5th anniversary show. And I went up and I was like, Rebecca, I have to work so early in the morning. Can I go up in like the second hour? And she was like, you got it, Soder. And I closed the bar down. And she was like, aren't you supposed to be at work? And I was like, in 5 hours. And I was just fucking blackout.
Oh, dude, those
man.
nights.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like that 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 years in
Crazy.
March. That's-
Crazy.
Do you think? I know we joke about this, but do you think you will ever have a drink again?
I can't answer that, but I hope I don't.
Yeah.
I just know where it goes, and
Yeah.
I know where my family is, and like as far as alcohol goes. My aunt said it to me when I lived with her in Alaska. We were drinking one night, and she's like, "I don't know what it is, Dan." She's like, "But this shit does something different to our blood than most people.
Okay.
And it, like just the way she said that, I was like, okay, it's basically being like there's an allergy. You have an allergy to this.
Right,
thing.
right.
So that's the way I look at it. I don't miss it.
Yeah.
I rarely miss it. And there's O'Doul's. I'm a fan.
Oh, you have an O'Doul's
I'll
on
have
here?
an O'Doul's, and I had
Yeah?
I went and saw Queens of the Stone Age in Stockholm, Sweden, and there was
Oh,
like
that was probably fucking great.
awesome at
Yeah.
Grana Lund,
Yeah,
at the
that
Grana
sounds
Lund, which is an
amazing.
outdoor amusement park. It was fucking awesome. What was even cooler is Dean Del Rey hooked me. I bought tickets, and then Dean Del Rey knows Josh Homme and like all the guys at Queens of the Stone Age, and he was like, "Oh, dude, I got you, dude," and fucking got me.
Wait. Can you do that again?
Hey, dude, what?
That's such a.
not-
Dean Del Rey, he's got a podcast. He's a wonderful comedian.
Yeah,
That is
let them
dead on.
talk.
Yeah.
I can get it better. I'll get it better. I'll get a better Dean Del Rey going. But he's such a fucking sweetheart and so funny. And he got like these tickets. He's like, I got you hooked up, and it was through John Theodore, the drummer. So
Yeah.
our tickets were like in this like raised balcony
that's
VIP
awesome.
section where they had an open bar. And I was like, do you guys have like non-alcoholic beer? And she was like, we have alcohol-free beer. She's like, there's no alcohol in it. And I was like, yeah. And I took an edible and I drank like 4 beers, and it felt pretty close to getting fucked up.
Yeah.
Because the edible would hit a little, and I would have like, I was sipping beer, so it was like it was great.
Yeah.
And then I just walked away from the concert. It wasn't fucked up.
Yeah.
Just kind of
That's
like,
perfect.
that's great.
I mean, I can say, like, I've done I did the 3 month, the first 3 months of 2018 sober.
Yeah.
Right? And the only reason I broke was because we were at the Melbourne Comedy Festival, and it was just too much. I was just
I can get it.
surrounded by too much. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to have a drink.
I'm nervous about Edinburgh, but
No, you'll be fine.
Yeah,
There are a
yeah.
You'll
lot
be
of
fine.
sober
There's a
people there.
ton of sober people in it.
Yeah,
That's
Even people that drink throughout the year, like, I got to focus because I'm doing a show every day.
Yeah, you got to run it every
Like,
night.
I'm not even going to lie to you, and I'm saying this. This is being said on recorded digital gigabytes.
Yeah.
Gigamax.
The gigabytes.
I am considering doing Edinburgh sober.
I am as well, yeah.
because that is an easy slope to slip into just a fucking crevice of 4 p.m. wake ups.
Oh,
And
dude,
five,
if
yeah,
I-
and it's just like I can't,
If I came off the wagon, it would be a
dude.
fucking
Well, because also this
fireworks.
Not the place to do
Not
it.
the place.
and
to
that's
do it.
and this is the thing.
You
wake
gotta
up in a-
bury shit.
I'd wake up in a castle.
Well,
Yeah.
and I mean I don't mean to start an international war with this, but this is a fact. Americans are better at drinking than every other country on the planet, and here's why. Every country, specifically the Scots and the Irish, they're like, we fucking invented whiskey, we fucking invented scotch, we could, but they pour measured. All of their pours are measured.
Yeah.
They all have the cup. Same thing in Australia.
That
They're
ain't cowboy style.
I fucking drinking on that fucking table. They all measured. All of their drink. So yeah, you're pounding 17 whiskeys,
Yeah.
but they're measured whiskeys.
Yeah.
But you know what? You get that.
exactly.
you get
America,
those-
America, you get cowboy pours, fucking gunslinger shots.
Well, they go like this. Give me
Yeah.
2 fingers. Why don't you give me 3 fingers there,
Yeah.
stranger? You're like, can I get a neat one?
Exactly.
Thank you very much, sir.
They treat
Dusty trail.
When you order 2 fingers, they treat you like you're a first time lesbian. They give you a fist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, can I have 2 fingers? Like, there you go. Why don't you take that glass down and come back and talk
Exactly.
to me? Yeah, it is pretty crazy where...
Americans definitely are more psychotic drinkers than fucking everywhere
I
else.
believe
Yeah.
it's because Americans do excess better than everyone.
Everyone.
Yes.
Everyone.
That's
No one
true.
does excess better than
So
Americans.
especially when you're over there at all these fucking, because they're in Edinburgh, there are these 4 performer only bars.
Yeah.
Performers,
Yeah.
and they're fun as hell.
Oh,
and you
yeah.
meet some
Super
great
fun.
people and you have great times. That's where I met Sloss and we got slossed.
Yeah.
Slossed
Yes.
with Sloss.
Oh, yeah.
But like I also feel this like sort of like they want to get you really fucked up because they're like, you're fucking, there's always this, you're an American, this slight sort of underlying of competitiveness
Yeah.
with every
Yeah.
comedian you meet across from other country, which is great. I appreciate it. I get it. We're American.
know what game we're in.
We're loud. We're bigger. Just fatter. I mean,
Yeah.
and. So yeah, they'll order you more drinks and they'll want to drink with you till. So that's the thing. If you do drink at Edinburgh, it is a competition every
Oh
night.
no,
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't come back because that'd be like Bruce Lee in Fists of Fury where they rip
Yeah.
his necklace off and they'd be like, I promised my dead wife I'd never fight again, and then
Yeah.
like, and I'm like, just fucking bah bah bah. Like, did you hear Soder's fucking pancreas shut down? He had pancreatitis for trying to go at it with a couple of Aussies and Scots drinking wise.
You hear Dan did his show drunk and actually fucking
5 stars.
went Buddhist monk.
Yeah,
like actually
5
lit
stars.
himself on fire.
Yeah, he's like 5 stars. Though.
6 stars. First 6-star show.
First 6-star show ever.
And he
It's
was
fucking-
fine afterwards. That was funny. He lit himself on fire. He was at the bar 20 minutes later.
Said it killed his hangover. Yeah. Said the fire. Said he burned it off.
Yeah. But yeah. So speaking
This is a fucking perfect segue for my story.
Yeah.
Ooh,
there we
great.
go.
All right.
This is a perfect segue. So
Hit
my
us with
story
those-
in 5 words.
Yes.
Is this: Tucson, Tempe, Wild Turkey, Rolling Rock. Ooh. Perfect parking. Oh, it's a word. Fuck. Parking.
Yeah, go parking. Yeah. I mean, wait. Let me say it. Tucson, Tempe, Wild Turkey, Rolling Rock, parking. I mean, that's funny that because this is. I
Yeah.
remember this old.
Wasn't Dan just telling us the story about when he was in Arizona?
Well, okay, so
Years back, obviously more than 6 years ago.
Dan went to college in Arizona. I remember
True.
this. You went to college in
I went to
Arizona.
the University of Arizona.
And there was the what a lot of people don't realize is Dan for the longest time, and I don't, the years have passed, so that there's the
Yeah.
whole 7-year stature
Yeah.
limitations things.
Sure,
but Dan used to. Do you remember that fake weed K2? Dan used to mule it from Tucson to Tempe,
Yeah. Okay.
right? And I remember him saying that his conscience was always so weighed down by this because he knew it was shit. So the only way he could do it was to just imbibe himself on wild turkey.
True. To drink the pain away.
To drink
Yeah.
the pain away, knowing that you were just bringing fake weed across the state.
Synthetic plants.
Yeah, right?
Yep, it's very true.
Right.
There was this one time, though, in this particular story where you had run out of wild turkey.
Right.
True.
Right.
Yeah. And instead, you had to go with Rolling Rock. It was the only thing available.
Oh.
And it's not,
It's not a bad beer, but
beer.
Latrobe,
you have to
Pennsylvania.
drink a lot of it to get fucked up.
Shout out to Rolling Rock.
And if you know on the Rolling Rock bottle, in parentheses, what number is it, Caitlin? Do you remember the number? Dan, you know the number. 33.
Boom, boom.
Right,
That's
right.
the recipe number.
30.
I was
33.
going to go with 7. So.
Right. And Dan, the next morning when he woke up and remembered where his car was in the parking lot, when he oh God, luckily he still had the ticket. He gives it to the guy. The guy goes, "That'll be $33." And he was like, "Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a sign." And that's when he realized the headache that he had from the hangover from running the dope across the
Yeah.
synthetic dope. That was a sign to quit running the dope.
It's also Jesus' number.
It's also
is.
the number,
Yeah.
also the year.
And
Jesus
Roger
died.
Craig, former running back for the San Francisco 49ers.
So
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
just all a sign. You were like, going sober.
They're all lined up.
And also the question, which is a philosophical question you've posed to me many times, is would you rather be Jesus or Roger Craig?
I mean, would you rather be the savior of humanity or a running back that can catch passes in the flats and do a
that's-
lot of damage?
Apply
Yeah.
that to life.
It's a lot.
And would
You
you
know?
rather encounter a turkey in the wild or some rocks rolling down at you?
But a
know?
rolling rock gathers no moss.
Very true.
There you go.
Yeah, and a wild turkey becomes food.
And,
know.
And that makes you asleep.
And then let's not forget the biggest point: Tucson and Tempe both start with a T.
There it is. That's how it links it
all
all.
of this symbolism.
Which a T, lowercase, looks like a cross. So the answer is Jesus.
Not
Yes.
Roger Craig. But
But that is definitely probably not the real story.
No.
yeah, you.
Did we
It
nail
did make me want to think about my life. The story did make me reflect on my life and my abuse of substances.
What is the real story?
The real story is I went to the school at the University of Arizona.
You did, right? I didn't just make
That's
that
true.
up. Okay, that's true. Yeah.
In Tucson.
Okay.
And I didn't run K2. I had
No.
no idea. In fact, I lived with a weed dealer that sold real weed. So I didn't need to run K2 because weed was being ran to my house and out of my house.
Yeah, actually, if you're smoking K2 in Arizona,
Yeah, you're an idiot.
it's
You're an idiot. There's a lot of drugs in that state.
Yeah.
A lot of very accessible drugs.
Well, it used to be like, oh, Mexico's right there, but now it's like, oh no, Colorado and California are right there,
We're
and
both
Nevada
there.
now,
And Nevada, and we're all surrounded by it. So I was at the University of Tucson, and I was at a football game, the University of Arizona versus Oregon, quarterbacked by Joey Harrington.
Wow, dude, I remember Joey Harrington.
This is dating what year it was. This is a nice
1999.
This is 03.
03. Okay.
And my roommate at the time was from Oregon, and he had a bunch of friends down, and they were excited to go because Oregon was one of the top teams in the country.
Wait, who were they playing?
Arizona, and we sucked.
Yeah.
We sucked. So it was a blowout. It was like 42-0 by halftime, and we had been drinking.
The only player I can think of when I think Arizona is Larry Fitzgerald, and he doesn't play for.
No, he played for the University of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
We had at the time, we had
Yeah.
Lance Briggs, who became a linebacker for the Chicago Bears. Actually, he was gone by then, but we had Clarence Farmer, who was a running back. No one really.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't there yet. Rob Gronkowski was.
Rob Gronkowski was University of Arizona.
Yeah, but he was a freshman when I was a senior, so that wasn't there yet because this was my sophomore year.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
The Gronk.
Gronk is went to U of A.
There you go. All right.
We're at this football game. We've been pre-gaming. We've been tailgating. We're pretty drunk.
Yeah.
And I get a call on my flip phone from two of my best friends that lived in Vegas. One of them went to UNLV. The other one went to Southern Nevada, which is a community college. And they're like, hey, we're driving to Tempe to see a girl we went to high school with that goes to ASU. So they're like, why don't you come up? What are you doing tonight? And I was like, I'm at a blowout.
Yeah.
Fuck it. So I got in my car. Not saying that's what, none of this. I do not condone. Let me start this story by saying I do not condone drunk driving. Sure. It is a stupid fucking thing, and I'm very stupid for fucking doing it. But I was pretty buzzed, and I was like, fuck it up. So I went up.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where I was like, what a joie de vivre. Let me just drive up to Tempe and see some friends. So I did. I drove up to Tempe, and on the way up to Tempe, I picked up a bottle of 100 proof wild turkey. And
Is there less proof wild turkey?
yeah, you can get.
There is?
Yeah, you can get to 80 proof.
It should be called wild then. It should be called normal turkey.
Yeah, that's a
chill
turkey.
turkey. Chill
Wild
turkey.
turkey.
Domesticated turkey.
Yeah, Dom turkey,
turkey.
wild turkey.
Yeah.
So I get a bottle of real wild turkey, 100
Yeah.
proof, and a case of Rolling Rock, which is 2 12-packs bottles.
I mean, that is a mountain man's party right there,
I
buddy.
was going. Also, I should
Yeah.
say at the time I was heavily into reading Hunter S. Thompson.
Yeah, I was.
I was super into reading Hunter S.
Yeah.
Thompson at the time, who drank
Yeah.
wild turkey. That was like his drink. That's why I bought wild turkey.
Which firearms did you have in your trunk?
I had, what I had was a suitcase full of methamphetamines and a damn pistol for any of these pig fuckers.
Case of wild turkey. No, one bottle of wild turkey and a case of Rolling Rock.
Yeah.
Bottles or cans?
Bottles.
Woo, buddy.
Buddy, going up. Yeah. So I drive up to Tempe. I meet up with my friends, bust out. I take 1 12-pack and a bottle of wild turkey into the apartment. We drink. It's a whole night. We go out. We go to this. At one point in the night, I'm not very proud of this, we're getting kicked out of a frat party because we're not members of the frat. And these guys are trying to like alpha me, my friend Johnny, and Dennis. And they're like, you guys need to get the fuck out of here. And the guy opens it because I'm on the patio smoking. And the guy's like, did you not hear what the fuck I said? And I turned around and went, I did not hear what you said. And the guy immediately was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. He goes, I'm so sorry. Can you guys get out of here or whatever? And
Oh
like,
my God.
I'm not proud of that.
Yeah.
But goddamn if it didn't make Dennis and Johnny laugh. Because they were like, I watched that guy turn immediately.
That's also if you did that to an actual person who, like a friendly person who helps the deaf,
Then you're fucked up.
then you're an asshole. But you do it to a frat boy
Who's trying to kick us out.
Should be
Yeah.
proud of that.
Yeah, who was actively kicking us out of his house by going, get the fuck out.
You
Did
made a
Like
frat
trying
boy
to
for a moment be
alpha
human.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was interesting to watch him because I was
Yeah.
like, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. And he was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And so and that's where the night ends for me.
Wait, what about parking? Oh, okay, there we go.
Or
There we
I
go.
think.
Oh shit!
I wake up and I wake up the next morning groggy, head hurting.
Oof.
I look around. I'm in my own bed.
Oh,
Not a good
no.
feeling.
Yeah.
Okay.
I go downstairs. I'm parked perfectly in the driveway of my house. Perfectly.
What?
An inch to the garage door.
Oh my God.
Perfectly. I go in the back seat. I notice the 12-pack I left back there has 6 bottles in it, meaning I drove blackout from Tempe back to Tucson, smoking joints and just drinking Rolling Rock bottles, blaring the Rolling Stones. Because again, reading a lot of Hunter S. Thompson.
Yeah.
So the power of bravado. And it was one of the most ashamed, sad hangovers I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, it was truly one of the most depressing hangovers I've ever had because I was so mad at myself.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
How long is that drive?
99 miles.
Yeah. It's,
Jeez.
So it's about an hour and a half if you fucking, and it's like 75. But it is in Arizona, and if you've ever driven it, I-10 is just
flat
it's flat and
wide.
straight and
Yeah,
wide.
the
So you just
desert.
got to stay in the lane and
Yeah.
stay at the fucking thing. And I did it. The parking I was impressed with.
yeah.
The parking I was so impressed with that in between sobbing fits of smoking cigarettes, I got my roommate out of the house, and I went, dude, check that out. And he went, yeah. I was like, that was me blackout last night. And he's like, that's a good parking job.
Yeah.
He really, that's how we ended the day. Was the sun was going down. He goes, yeah, that is a good parking job. It was one of those hangovers where I had to get fucked up the next afternoon, even to have
Just
a shot at being okay.
Yeah.
That was you had to get fucked up just to feel human.
Yes.
Just to
Yeah.
function.
I've only had
Yeah.
that like 3 or 4 times in my life, and that was one of those moments.
Oh, yeah.
And
Those-
that was the 100 proof, being like, oh, God damn it. And then I called my friend Johnny, who was back up in Vegas, and he was like, yeah, dude, you just left.
Well, we got told to leave.
Yeah, he was like, he's like, I guess we went back to the apartment complex, and I dropped off Johnny and Dennis. And I was like, I'm going to look for parking. And then I just called him, and I was like, I'm going to go home. And they're like, what?
Yeah.
And then
I'm going.
1 p.m. the next day, woke
And
up.
that was 03. That was flip phones.
Dude, that was a razor.
A razor.
Yeah.
Easy to ignore, you know?
Easy to ignore. So, yeah, that was the story.
I mean, that's crazy. Also, like, yeah, no one should condone drunk driving.
No.
Drunk driving, of course, it sucks. But like, the thing is, most of us have done it,
Yeah.
and like, it's a terrible thing to do. And for anyone who's lost someone in that situation, it's terrible.
Terrible.
But at the same time, like, you learn that you had that experience. You're like, oh, I'll never do that again. Ever do that shit again. Yeah.
Ever. I think that really did stop me from ever even being like I think I actively looked for DDs after that. Like, I'd be
Yeah.
like, hey, man, are you not going to drink? Because I'm going to
Yeah.
drink tonight. And I'd be more comfortable because I was so... Actually, no, I did. I drove drunk one more time.
Yeah.
At my friend's wedding, the week we were in Colorado, this girl that I've had a crush on since high school, we were drinking at a bar, and she wanted to sleep with me. And she's like, I got my car here. And I was like, I'll drive it back to my mom's house. And
Yeah.
then I saw all my friends the next day, and they're like, what the fuck? But same feeling that I had from that story, where I was
Yeah.
like, I'm so sorry.
Well, don't you also feel like, I mean, I feel like there is a level of alcohol in your body that you are able to handle driving, but the overall society has to be like, no, there can't be any
Yes.
because it affects people differently.
Yes, I think there are people that
Yeah.
can drink and drive. I think my mom's one of them. My mom went out to lunch with one of my friend's moms, and they've never hung out until now when they're both 70. And I saw my friend's mom, and she was like, yeah, your mom had like 2 glasses of wine and a martini and drove home. I'm like, yeah, mom, that doesn't
Yeah.
surprise me.
Yeah.
And I told my mom that she said
Trish?
that. My mom, yeah, Trish was like, I was like, she was like, that bitch tattletailed on me. She was like, what?
Yeah.
She's like, I was fine. And I was
Yeah.
like, hey, say I trust her.
Yeah, I mean,
I do feel like the older generation
Yeah, like the older you
can
are.
handle it because it wasn't a thing back then.
Well, what's interesting about our generation is now marijuana will get you a DUI. If they
Oh.
pull you over in Colorado and they smell marijuana in your cab or your car, or they think you're high, you'll get a DUI.
I mean, like,
Interesting.
And I drive long distances ripped.
I almost
Yeah.
think some people drive better high, man. Like my grandma, before she died, like the 5 years or so before she died, she couldn't drive anymore because
Yeah.
it made her too nervous.
Yeah.
She just got too goddamn nervous. And I get that. Sometimes, like, if you've ever driven in New York or in New Jersey,
Yeah.
like a couple months back, you remember right when I got back from China, I had to rent a car because I was doing the wonderful Uncle Vinny's Comedy Club down in
Point Pleasant, baby.
Yeah. And unless you want to spend the night in Point Pleasant Beach Town in October when it was, or November, you rent a car. And that drive every day, that hour and 20-minute drive from here to there and back was the most stress-inducing, nerve-wracking, like I want to put my head through the windshield on purpose in front of children to make them never want to go down this road. But
All I hear when you say that,
yeah.
great drive.
Yeah.
100. That's an hour and 22 minutes. Listen to tunes, stoned in a fucking
Stoned, exactly.
Nissan
High,
Altima.
I imagine great.
Great.
And like that's the thing. My grandma,
coffee.
if she lived at a time when marijuana was legal, probably fucking take a little dab and be fine driving again.
Yeah, I think you just got to know your tolerance. And I can get up on my high horse and be like, I've never drunk drove. And it's like, because I don't drive.
Yeah.
If I was a driver, if I didn't get nervous driving sober, I probably would have at some point.
You know what the dumbest driving I ever did was stone sober. I was in high school. I was 15 years old. And my friends and I went to this like dance club on 3-day weekends would do teenager night. So they do like, if you were 16 to 20, you could come to this dance club. It's usually like a fucking adults only dance club.
Right.
So we went, and I went with like 4 of my friends, and 2 of my friends, the 2 cooler guys, got in, and they were like, to me and my friend Paul, they're like, hey, just wait in our car. This big Blazer, this old Blazer. He's like, wait in the Blazer, just listen to the radio.
Yeah.
You got cigarettes. We'll be out in 4 hours. So I was like, well, that's stupid.
Yeah.
So I looked at my friend Paul. He was 15. I was like, do you know how to drive at all? He's like, no. And I was like, I think I do. And he's like, you do? And I drove to the only movie theater that I knew of, which was back in Aurora. So I drove a 25-minute drive from Denver, from Hollywood Legends to the Chinese Man Theater in Aurora on Parker and Arapahoe, and then back to the dance club in a different parking spot. And my friend Adam came out and was like, where the fuck did you move the car? And I was like, oh, did I move the car? We went and saw a movie. And he was like, what the fuck? And I was like, oh, you shouldn't have left us in there. I mean, but that was dumber because I remember being on the highway being like, I could hurt someone.
Well, also, ridiculous friend, like, just hang out and smoke cigarettes in the car for 4 hours.
That's crazy.
No,
Yeah,
that's
nah.
insane.
I mean, Caitlin is the worst, does not like driving at all.
Yeah.
It's also funny, though, like.
I mean, see my Edinburgh show.
Yeah,
Figure
see
out
the Edinburgh
why.
show. There's reasons. But there was that one time we picked up, you remember, we picked up a rental car in Nashville, and we had my sister's car. So you remember that when you had to follow me?
Yeah, I was just so hungover too, though.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh, I feel like a not human, so I feel like this is unsafe.
But that experience, and this is driving. You've probably had this happen before, where you're like, I'm renting a Toyota Prius, and you show up, and they're like, we're out of Toyota Priuses.
Yeah, here's a Dodge Charger.
Exactly.
Love it.
That's exactly what they did. They were like,
love it.
we don't have any more Priuses or any more economy cars, but we're going to upgrade you to a Dodge Charger.
Love it.
The exact opposite of what you wanted.
Yeah.
I'll be
Feel
like,
that power.
for
Pay
no
for
money.
that gas.
I love it. I'll be like this. If they do that, I'm like, fucking, what's up?
Well, dude, that was the thing. Like,
Yeah, you had so much fun in that car.
well, day one, we drove that car from Nashville to Lexington. That's
Right.
like 3 hours. And that day was like the power.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing seriously 100 the whole way.
Without even blinking.
Cars are getting over. Like, I'm not having to ride anyone's ass.
Nope.
They see me coming and they're getting
Yeah.
over. They're respecting me.
Yeah.
It's fucking great. I'm like, I get it, car people. But then the next day, we had to drive from Lexington to Atlanta to catch a flight, right? Because it's so expensive to fly to Lexington, so we drove to Atlanta. That's like 5 hours. That drive, I saw all the downsides of people trying to race me. People.
Oh, yeah, that one guy followed you forever.
There was a fucking dude in a Chevy Suburban, right? And I guess he had a Hemi in there as well. So he kept kept like he would do the thing where he would get out of my way, and then I would go to pass him, and then he would speed up and stay with me, and then get back in front of me. And he must have done this for 2 hours, where I would slow down and be like, "Just go, man." And then eventually I'd catch up to him just because he'd be slowing down, I guess. And then I'd try and blast past him, just like, get the fuck away from me.
And he'd be like,
he'd
"I
catch
got
up.
this guy."
And he'd catch up. And he'd just be there looking at me. And it's like, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. It was almost like being in the body of a beautiful woman for a day where you're like, leave me the fuck alone, dude.
Stop it. I said no.
No, like, go away.
Kenneth, we're friends.
No, we're not even friends anymore, Kenneth.
I don't want to work with you. You make me feel uncomfortable.
Like it got to the point where like you get a little nervous, and I was like, every time we passed a cop, I was like, I'll fucking swerve in front of this cop, just get him to pull me over.
Yeah, just get out
so
of
I
here.
could be like, that
Should've just
fucking
pulled
guy.
over.
Yeah.
Should just pull over to a rest stop. That's what I did.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
he eventually got off somewhere. And I think he thought I was gonna follow him. Because like I think he thought it was like, you want to really race, motherfucker? And I'm like,
they're like, bye.
Yeah.
And he's like, shit. As he's going down the ramp and you're staying on, he's like, shit. One time I was at,
he's like, but now what am I gonna do for the rest of the day?
let me find someone else who wants to race.
God.
One time I was at Enterprise and I was at SFO. I was flying to San Francisco and then I drive up to my grandma's small town. And
Which is what?
Lakeport. It's in Lake County, fire country. Yeah. So I land and the Enterprise is like, we're all out of Altimas because that's my jam.
Yeah.
I love a good Nissan.
Yeah.
And I was like, do I get a Maxima? That's even cooler. And the guy goes, I know you're renting the car for 4 days. $28 extra a day. You can rent this Maserati. And I was like,
What?
It was the only time because I have so many Enterprise points. I was like,
Dude, a fucking Maserati?
Then I remembered I was going to my grandma's meth village. And I was like,
yeah.
nope.
Oh, yeah.
Nope. I'm not parking my fucking Maserati in front of my grandma's apartment.
No.
And then just coming back out and be like, and it's gone.
Shit, I would have been like, how much is the insurance a day?
Dude.
because it's almost worth it.
They said the insurance was the same, and they're like, it's just $20 extra a day.
Oh, that would have been
for
so
a
fun.
Maserati, just to be like, it's just fucking 160 up.
I hate driving, but I would have done that for sure.
Oh, now I regret it.
Well,
I regret it like my drunk driving.
Well, I mean, that's right there. Sums
Yeah.
up the episode.
Yeah.
For me,
Get a Maserati,
don't drive
blow up
drunk.
your grandma.
But if you are driving, get that goddamn Maserati.
They're gonna bump you. Get that fucking Maserati.
That actually, I know jokingly, but that is almost a great, you can apply that exact phrase to life itself. Hey,
Yeah.
don't fucking drive drunk.
Yeah.
But if you're going to drive a Maserati.
If you get a shot at a Maserati,
Take that
it.
shot.
Yeah.
Take that shot.
And if you don't have to drive, go for the wild turkey.
Yes.
You know? And if you do, domesticate that turkey.
True. And hard-boiled eggs make your farts stink. And Sean's got powerful farts. We've learned a
This
lot.
is just, I mean, I'm going to say this right now, listeners, and I don't say this often. You're welcome.
A lot of life
Now
lessons in this
go
one.
get a job in the service industry and
And go-
bury us something.
I was gonna say bury us something.
Remember, wherever you are, bury us something. Tell us where it is. We'll find it.
Yay.
Give us a map. And drive that Maserati.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And do you have anything evergreen to plug?
DanSoder.com for tour dates. At Dan Soder on all social media.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is Twitter. I don't go on, and Instagram. Sometimes I'm on. So
Excellent. This is Caitlin.
Hi.
And-
We're all going to hang out in Edinburgh, so come join us.
Yeah,
And
come to
that's
Scotland.
Sean.
Yeah, and this is Sean. And this has been 5 Words. Thank you.
Goodbye. I don't have plans and schemes, and I don't have hopes and dreams, and I don't have anything since I don't have you, and I don't have fond desires, and I don't have happy hours, and I don't have anything except money and fame. 'Cause hey, I'm in guns and